No dad. You're too young to be my grandpa, right? I'll tell you what, how about brother? Older brother. Is that better? We'll do that. My dear friend, Platinum Robert Meyer, curates the skill sets from within our team such that they can then share those wonderful skill sets with us, and we can become better NowSite customers and better NowSite affiliates. And Robert, I'm always indebted to you for the work you put into this, and I'm thank you so much for doing that. But I'm going to hand the call over to you so you can do the right job in introducing who I'm looking forward to. There's a little bit of a clue as to who it's going to be, by the way. I think it was about 2 minutes ago. There's a little bit of a clue as to who it's going to be. But Robert, I'll let you introduce our special guest. I'm really looking forward to what she's got to share with us today.
Well, very good. We have another special lady here that's going to really give us lots of great information. I want you to get out your pen and your paper. You really need to take notes on this. It's going to be very exciting. I think you're going to enjoy it. For sure, she's going to talk about sales, and you may think it's going to be a 5-letter word, and you need to really understand this. And she's a leader in Lois Kofi's group. And Lois, take it away and introduce her.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Great. I just wanted to quickly, because I'm selfish, because I so love this lady and I wanted to be able to introduce her. So thank you, Robert, for giving me the opportunity. I have known LeAnn now for, gosh, I forget. It feels like a long time, but I think it's only been 4 years, maybe 5 years. We met just before Prince died. So that's actually almost 5 years ago. So it's been 5 years. That's how I remember things. And she's became one of my best friends. We were referrals to each other in BNI, and we've been business partners ever since. She can't get rid of me. And she's so humble. She's so loving. She's so kind. And she's definitely my number one servant leader. I can count on her, and she's just blossomed into an amazing presenter. Quick story: when I first started NowSite, I didn't have a lot of time, and I knew if I wanted to build this affiliate thing, I needed to have a wingman, or in this case, a wing woman who could help me do webinars and presentations. Because at that time, I didn't even know Gem Junkies existed. I was just having fun with LeAnn, saying, "Hey, let's build this together." And it was because of her helping me in that first month that I was able to hit $1,000 a month. And so I was so excited when she hit 1,000 and now 2,000, and she's just growing and exploding. And she has the most active group inside of my whole team. So LeAnn, take it away. You're awesome, and I love you.
LeAnn, we can't hear you, my lovely. You're unmuted, but your mic's not on, lovely. We can't hear you.
Oh, you know what? It unplugged. Hold on.
That's okay. So you can tell it's live, by the way. We do these things intentionally just so you know that it's that it's live. Are you crawling around under the table there, LeAnn? That's
Yes, I am.
I love it. That is just perfect.
Yep.
But we can hear her now.
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, literally. I like to stand as a presenter. I love standing. I hate sitting and presenting. Presenting over Zoom has just been not so easy. But hi, I'm LeAnn. I've been around. You've seen me probably before. I do want to share my screen here. So give me a moment while I get this set up. Here we go. I'm going to jump over to here. Everybody see a winding road right now? I'm sure we all have winding road. So just a little bit about me and my background, since technology has not been my friend today. I sent Robert an introduction, it got lost. Now my microphone went unplugged. And in fact, one of my team members here, Charles, we do a little show where we call ourselves the Not Now Site Nerds, because we love techie stuff, but oftentimes you just have to do what you got to do to get through it, right? you punt, you make mistakes, you go back, you do it again, you try again, you scrap what you did and you start over. And that's often how life pretty much seems to work. So my winding road actually started with middle school math teacher. I remember when I went in college to apply to the teacher university college, and they said, well, why do you want to be a teacher? I said, because I want to sell math to seventh graders. That's really what I want to do. I want to sell math to seventh graders. I've been in hospitality for years. I can sell $100 bottle of wine to every single table in my group, but I want to sell math to seventh graders. And so I did. I was a seventh grade math teacher for 5 years, left it 1 month before my oldest daughter was born. And that was in 1999. My husband, meanwhile, said, you need to go into sales. And I'm like, ooh, sales? That sounds terrible. Says the girl who said, I want to become a teacher so I can sell math. And somehow there was just this disconnect between what sales is and what sales isn't. So I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I just want to give you a little more introductions. My background, I became a financial aid advisor. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Living Trust sales rep, though. I was actually #1 sales rep in the country. It was really fun. It was the most money I'd ever made. And then I went beyond that when I became a Yellow Book sales rep. Ignore the windows and roofing thing in between. Another disaster. Scrap, move on. Website designer, social media specialist, direct sales consultant, and now affiliate marketer. I've also owned a brick and mortar store with Yellow Book. I won trips to Mexico. And with Lois Kofi, we have traveled on cruises and really worldwide with our direct sales companies that we've been with previously. And I'm just so blessed. She really was the very first referral I received in a networking group. The executive director's like, oh, I've got this person you need to meet. And I was like, okay, cool. And here we are. And here we are. So these are the lights of my life. As you can tell, my dark hair is, okay, it's not natural, but it's also not blonde. And they are. My daughters, Brianna and Malin, light of my life. Brianna is getting married this summer. She was that one born in '99. My husband, Jack, still crazy in love with him, maybe even more so after empty nesting. I speak Swedish. I have a black belt, and that's all kind of cool. My more recent kind of fun accomplishments, though, is one right behind me. Thank you, Richard, for this beautiful pin. And beyond that, how I got there involved a little competition. So Lois Kofi, in her own group, which is a subset of the Gem Junkies. So we're all part of Gem Junkies, but Lois Kofi has her team and I have mine. And I'm so happy to see so many people here from my group tonight. Thank you. But she ran a little contest. She had an affiliate contest and she offered a promo. She's like, look, if you can break 1K or 2K this month, I've got a little spiff for you. It's called investing into your future, right? Because we all went for it. And some of us made it, some of us got close, and all of us helped, ourselves as well as Lois Kofi's team to push our way up and do what we do. And that's just called investing into yourself. How did I get there? I took some of what I expected to be able to earn and I invested it as well into some of my team where appropriate and to, as incentives and to help push. I offered, many times the offer came to, nope, that's not for me right now. And that's fine. And that really goes into what I want to talk to you about today, because sales is a 5-letter word. So I'm going to share a new share here. This is something new for me. I love Zoom and I've actually never done this before. Everybody see my white screen now? So we're going to talk about this. Who loves a good, oops, there we go. I didn't have red before, but I have red now. Who loves a good sale? Show of hands, little nod, thumbs up. Yeah. Who loves a good sale? We all love a good sale. A good sale is a good sale. And, You know, you hear sale and you go and you find those sales. My youngest daughter is getting ready for her internship, and she is hitting all the sales, getting ready to build her professional wardrobe, right? And so she's checking out all the sales. Sale is not a 4-letter word. It is a 4-letter word, but not in the nasty sense. But we love this 4-letter word. But when we add on one more letter, many people consider this to be a 4-letter word. And what I want to share with you tonight is how it really, truly isn't. Sales is actually the greatest opportunity we have to make a difference in the world. This is really what I believe. It goes all the way back to selling math to 7th graders, right? And using that ability to having that platform to improve another person's life, there is no greater gift. My daughter, my youngest, and I went to see the movie The Courier on Sunday evening. And there was one line, the whole movie is fantastic. I love it. Historical perspectives and all that, definitely encourage. I love the movie. But there's one line in there where towards the beginning, the salesman is sitting at a table with a bunch of people. This is 1960. It's all men in sales. And he says, look, guys, I represent the best manufacturers, period. You know that. I represent all the best people, all the best products. So I'm not here to sell you anything today. Tell me what you need. I'll hook you up. Wouldn't that be a different way to do things? Truly. And so this sales acronym, and humbly I say, I actually made this acronym up myself. There's so many acronyms out in the world, you'd be like, yeah, she stole that from someplace. But no, this is actually mine. And I'm going to give it to you right now. So we'll talk through it as I go. If I can figure out how to change my pen. There we go. So the first letter in the sales acronym, it's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure all of you can practice this right now. Another 5-letter word. Smile. Sales begin with relationship. Sales begin with a smile. You know, you don't walk into a room expecting to do anything with anyone and growl at them. I hope. If you do, I'd love to know if that's successful for you. But smile is the first step in sales. And I'm looking at some faces here. I've got some laughs. I got some smiles. I appreciate that. Yay. So sales, so if you want to start a successful sale, start with a smile. There's not much more to say to that, actually. The second one is to ask. So just like the courier said in this movie, you need to ask a question. You need to ask something. Now, Lois Kofi, when she got started this with NowSite, she asked me actually a year ago in March to check this out. She, introduced me to Robert. Thank you, Robert. I said, thank you very much. It's not for me. In July, Lois Kofi asked me once again, hey, would you check this out? And as a favor to her, did I mention? As a favor to her, I said yes. And 20 minutes later, I was signing up for NowSite and canceling hundreds of dollars of other products that I was spending money on every single month or every single year. And so I saved over $3,000 right there. And within a week, I had my 3 people. That meant that I was not paying for NowSite either. So I was getting it for free. Very quickly, it escalated to where I've gotten to today. But you get there because you ask. But what do you ask? Lois Kofi's magic question last summer was, do you have a CRM? And people would say, what's a CRM? Great question, she'd say. Let's bring you over to here. I've got Robert is doing this amazing presentation, or LeAnn, or she was doing presentations. We were doing presentations, but we wouldn't do it on the spot. We wouldn't do it at the moment. We'd ask them to come see a presentation, and if possible, to see a presentation somebody else maybe was doing, somebody else that we could lift up and praise and say, wow, this person is amazing. It's too much for me to explain right now, But if you could take 20 minutes and, meet this person on this day at this time, I think you'll be blown away at how this could change your business. Now, if CRM isn't your thing, or if you think that there's another part of Nowsite which is amazing, like the social media piece, then ask people today in the COVID world, how is your social media doing? How much time are you spending posting on social media? And the numbers can be crazy. Ask a great question. And then you need to do a very important step. You need to listen. And just listen. Listening is so underrated. And many people listen working hard on what they're going to say next. They're not really listening. They act like they're listening. And, sometimes they're playing a game on their phone while they're listening over Zoom. You think you can get away with that. But listen, really listen. If possible, I've shown you the trick in the past on how to be eye-to-eye contact on a one-to-one Zoom. Hide your self-view, look into their eyes, look into the camera, make them know you're listening, that you're paying attention, and hear what they're really saying. You may ask them how their social media is doing, but listen to what they're really saying, because maybe they're just struggling with how to get content to the other people in their organization. Boom. Talk to them then about how we share content in Nowsite. Maybe they're saying, yeah, but email, man, I'm just so tired of having to figure out how to write a new fresh email all the time and keeping up on all the email. Well, boom, show them our email campaigns. So you can ask one thing, but listen to their answer and listen for the opportunity of what they really need. Listen for the actual need, not what you want them to need or not what you expect them to need. So ask and then listen. The E then comes in, because you've really listened carefully, is to, I think I'm spelling this right. Remember, a math major, right? Is it a Z or an E? Anybody? Empathize. I think it's an S. Nope, it's a Z. I think Richard's saying it's a Z. Okay. Watch this. This is really cool. I can hit eraser. I can just erase that one. And there we go. Yay, empathize. Empathize. You can only empathize with a person if you've really done the third thing of listening. If you ask a question and don't listen, you may empathize with something they didn't say or that they don't need. So you can't really get to the E of sales if you don't do the L. Again, the center thing is the key thing. So smile, ask, listen, and empathize. Let them know you heard them, maybe by asking more questions. This might turn into a bit of a loop. That's okay, because it all goes back to relationship and smiling. Smile when you empathize. Let them know that you're listening. And then the final thing, once you feel like you really truly understand and you've empathized and that they know that you understand, that is when you have the chance to share. And you may even ask for permission to share. Can I share something with you? Can I share an idea with you? I heard what you're saying. I would love to share something with you. Is that okay? Asking that permission. Empathizing. That's happened to me too. Yeah, I can totally get that. That's where I was 5 months ago, 5 years ago, whatever the case may be. And then you can share your solution. But really critically, you need to smile, ask, listen, and empathize before you share. There's a lot more, obviously, that you can do with sales and to be really successful in sales. Once you share, how much do you share? How do you share? I really encourage, talk to your upline, use your team, tap into them and let them do the work for you. Like Richard has just said, Nowsite has stepped up so much since last July. I have a YouTube channel if you want to check it out. And I'm actually having to go back now and archive all of my old training videos, my old presentations, because they're old. And how we build websites is different now. In fact, I put up a new little training today because I realized that how we share websites to the content section has changed just a little bit, but it was an opportunity to put up something new. And so that is what what I do. I love sharing. I love, I have thankfully I work with a coach, Coach Lois Kofi, who has an incredibly abundant mindset. This is something that she's always had. I'm thrilled to work with her and, to do the same. Sharing is caring and all the good stuff. So that's really what I wanted to share. I am checking to see if there's anything in the chat that I missed. Thank you, Stephen. And Yellow Book, yes, Yellow Book, truly. Actually, if I raise the screen, I can show you the awards. Nobody buys a balloon from a sad clown. Great. Dutch wisdom. Excellent. Anything I can answer? Any questions that I could offer? Thanks, Deborah. Nice to see you here too.
I did want to add something and kind of add a suggestion to something you're talking about. What I love about one part that you were talking about was the eye contact.
Yeah.
We're so used to in Zoom now talking, if you're looking at my screen and I'm talking to you, I'm looking at you here, and there's that eye contact is not there. And there are lots of different ways of being able to do that. And I just, from my perspective, my camera's right there. So I'm looking at you, but I also, for those who have a separate camera and who want to kind of, I think the eye contact thing is important enough to, for me, spend $150. With $150, I went online and bought a little teleprompter, right? So, and a teleprompter, you've seen them in the news, right? You see the words going in front of them, this type of thing. Well, I don't put the words on the screen. I put the Zoom screen on the screen. So I'm now looking LeAnn right in the eyes, and I'm looking at the camera. So if you have a separate camera, you can look at doing that. Now it's $150. Maybe that's, out of some people's price range, but for those who are kind of looking to go into that area, maybe if you're doing podcasting or if you're going to be doing video work, on a regular basis like this, then that's another way around it. But I couldn't agree more. Eye-to-eye contact, it creates trust, right, LeAnn?
100%, right. And so hiding your self-view, because that's the biggest distraction. We are all, I think, unless it's just me, a little obsessed with our own image. Just the way it is. So when you hide your self-view by clicking on your own little screen, click on the 3 little dots and hide your self-view, you will not be able to see yourself. And if you're in a one-to-one conversation, it makes it possible just to see just that other person on the whole screen. And it actually becomes just a little bit more like you're sitting across the table from somebody. And, then you grab your cup of coffee and you can actually feel a little bit like things are that much closer to the old ways. Can't be belly to belly, maybe too much yet, but absolutely.
Anybody else have any other questions? If you want to ask a question, just put your hand up. And the way to do that is to go to the bottom of the Zoom screen, go across to reactions, click on reactions, and then there's a bar there. Don't do the clapping one or the thumbs up one. There's a bar at the bottom that says raise hand. Click on that and raise your hand, and you'll appear up there in the top right-hand corner, and I can see that. In the meantime, while you're thinking about your question, I actually have a question for you, LeAnn. Okay. Obviously, you're talking, we're pretty much doing sales in anything and everything that we do.
100%.
I absolutely love your presentation. For those of you who are as old as me, some of you may have done this as well. Back in our day, we did the Rank Xerox selling course, and it was the old-fashioned way of being able to do it. And nowadays, we talk about this a lot. Sales is very different. It's not gift of the gab and the fancy patter and this type of thing. It's authenticity and honesty and vulnerability and this type of thing, as well as professionalism. Obviously, there's lots of people on here with different businesses, and some people are now site affiliates. taking that, how do you apply this to your Now Site business? So you've got your acronym there. When you're doing obviously you're working as an affiliate, because that's, you know, obviously where most of the money can be made in Now Site. How are you applying this to your, and are you applying this to your Now Site business as per how you were presenting it with your acronym there? You're smiling and all this type of thing. How are you, can you give us kind of like a simple, I don't want to throw you under the bus here.
Oh, no.
Can you give us a kind of a simple example of how you use it to attract a customer or an affiliate to Now Site?
Well, I'm looking at a few of the products of this system. And if, you know, this acronym that I created was born about 45 minutes before this started tonight. But it was easy to do because this is what I've always done. When I've connected with people, and Lisa and Charles and everybody on here pretty much that has met with me that's here today, is because when we talk, I really believe in everything I said. You need to listen, you need to ask, you need to seek first to understand, then to be understood. And if you keep that one quote in mind, I wish I could remember offhand who said that, but it's profound. So when I connect with people, whether I connect with them belly to belly, whether it's been a long time, if I find them new on LinkedIn or some other social media, which happens, you know, it's always about, hey, I'd love to know more about you. We get together, we get on a Zoom usually, you know, where I can be eye to eye, face to face, and say, great, here we are. And I don't talk first. I ask, tell me about you. Tell me about your business. Who are you? What do you stand for? I ask questions. If we have 30 minutes, I'll make sure that at least the first half, the first 15 minutes, I'm listening and learning about that other person. And sometimes, not always, you know, there'll be a reciprocity. If there is, that's great. If there isn't, that's fine. You know, I really am more about helping another person than needing to be on my own soapbox, telling my own story. You know, I do, because storytelling helps. You know, facts tell, stories sell, because those stories do matter. But it isn't my primary and only thing that I'm really trying to do. You know, the ultimate sales, right here, right? Oh, and these two, by the way, because just because this happened didn't mean that was, but here we are. But it's always about hearing the other person's story and listening to what they need, and then listening for how you can help. That's why I love affiliate marketing in general, because it's not just one thing that I do. You know, I do a lot of different things, and I'm always looking for how can I help this person best. And so, you know, that's where I go back to, you know, smile, ask, listen, empathize, and then you can share. And sometimes then you run out of time and that's okay, because that just gives you another opportunity to say, hey, let's get together again if you need to, or at least slip in just before the end of the call. You know what? I'd love to invite you to this event. I think this could change your life.
Wonderful. I love that. And I think as well, as long as you're not emotionally attached to whether you get the deal or not, then it's so much easier to do all of that, isn't it? If you're thinking, I've got to get this deal, then it makes it less genuine, right? And so not being emotionally attached, I think helps a lot. I do want to get to Mark. He has his hand up. He's waiting patiently. So Mark, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead and ask your question, my good friend. How are you, by the way? Are you doing all right?
I'm doing good. I have a warm shirt on, even though, you know, hey, no, I'll turn off the volume for a reason. So if the volume goes on, it's my 4-year-old who knows how to work a remote control. A quick question. I hear you say about Louise and you were talking about, hey, do you know something about CRM? And now you shifted it to social media. You always pick one of the features that you want to highlight to ask things. What is for you the latest sexy feature that sells according to your group, or what do you see that works the best? You
know, what works best is always going to be what they need. And, I'll be completely honest, our CRM is not amazing, but I believe it's getting better. That's why I wanted now what next? That'll come, that will help our CRM. I believe that. Meanwhile, I'm making our CRM work and our email marketing, sending has significantly improved in the past couple of months. So we've got all that. My number one thing goes back to the one thing I think Nowsite was initially built for, which was, getting us on social media, getting our marketing done fast. And by the way, I love the fact of being able to say, oh, and by the way, who pays you to do your marketing for your business? That's amazing. To go in and be like, boom, I just made another $1. I mean, I do this on my recordings. When I'm doing Zoom presentations, I'll be like, and watch this. This is so cool. Here, I'm going to show you how to do 5-minute marketing. And I do post. And now watch this, boom. And there it pops up in the corner. You just earned $1. I'm like, I will do that all day long to get paid for marketing my business. That's super cool. But it's really the social media and not having to spend the hours and hours finding and curating content. And then you curate the wrong thing or you find the wrong thing and it doesn't really speak to your people. If you want to see some intense blogs, I have I'm not kidding. I think I'm now running AI on 8 or 9 different websites. And those blogs are rocking, filled with exactly the type of content they need to have in there. So, SEO is another strong point of a Nowsite, in my opinion, if you know what SEO is and how it works. So those are my 2 cents. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I personally, I went a lot with the nerds lately.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a time when Nowsite just starting to have some websites and those kind of things. And people that I approached sometimes were looking for a full service marketing agency instead of a do-it-yourself platform. And I'm not saying that we are now a full service marketing agency, but we are getting somewhere in between. And for people who don't know what they are doing or how to do things, it's a big advantage now. But that's my
No, last fall, I was starting to put together a business concept of basically hiring myself out to do what the nerds do. And I did do that for some people who are here today. I did that. And quite frankly, it was, for the right people, it's fun. But for the wrong people, it's exhausting. And you don't really know necessarily where you're going to get the nerds being hired as the kindest nerds on the planet. And they truly are. Their patience is so outstanding. I had another nerd call yesterday. I actually brought my VA onto the call with me and we requested a recording so that we could go through and, record what the nerd was showing us, as well as be able to replay that back and because they move fast. So being able to replay the recording, pause it, see what they're doing, notice the difference. It's actually kind of helpful to do that. You have to do that up front though, to make that recording, just like tonight.
I really like it. So I just had my session again today. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw in here, it was Stephen Covey. Thank you, Spi, for sharing that. Stephen Covey. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. 100%. I tell my kids that still today. Richard tells his kids, I know what you're doing. And I tell my kids, seek first to understand.
Maybe that's a generation gap, though. Maybe that's what that is. You're much nicer than I am. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat. Please, everybody, keep your eye on what's going on in the chat. There's always wonderful pieces of information in there. What I'm seeing at the moment is just compliments for a great job. LeAnn, as always, you do a fantastic job. Please come back and do more like this, please. We really all benefit so much from your training, your skills. The fact that you are a 2000 BV means that you live what you teach. There's a lot of people who teach because they can't do it.
Well, about that math degree.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. about that math degree.
The truth is, okay, I really do understand, did math. I took 2
Yeah,
years
sure.
of math in a year and all that.
Mhm.
But I taught 7th grade math because I knew that that was the point at which kids got screwed up. And I
Right.
wanted to be that person who didn't do that to them. So, but if I can just give one more shout out to just amazing, this whole incredible group. Richard, thank you. Robert, thank you. Lois Kofi, thank you. You know, none of this would have happened without you all doing it first. This 2000 BV is, you know, rolling forward, life-changing in many ways, because it's not the end. It's a new beginning of what's going forward, and none of it would happen without all of you. So thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to serve here.
Yeah, and that's great. And you're absolutely right. And I do want to give Lois a shout out specifically as well, because I know she was so impactful on your success in what we're doing here. And of course, Robert, I think, I think Lois and Robert were your mum and dad. I think probably what it was to get you to where you are, because I know you guys have worked so hard as a team. So again, great job. And of course, $2,000 coming in every month as a residual income.
Yes.
As a residual income. Guys, you got to understand what that is. In the network marketing industry, the number of people who get over 4 figures, so over 1,000 a month, is it's in the single figures, the percentage of people to get to a regular 4 figures a month, and she's doubled that. So again, that's a pretty good indication of just how good she is at what she does. So again, LeAnn, thank you so much for great training. Really appreciate it. I know everybody here, I really appreciate it. Guys, show your appreciation. Put a comment in the chat how much you appreciated LeAnn's training. It's always great. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, please do come back. With that,